Alright, hello once again, Jeff Scott from Jeff Teaches Programming. I'm in the middle of converting this BMI calculator from a JavaScript app to a TypeScript app. And what is left to do here are the event listeners. So the first one is going to be for the calculate button. When we get done with that one, what else do we have? Got the calculate button, the clear form button, the show totals button, and finally the close overlay button. I'm going to just maybe do these in reverse order because these are pretty small. So this is get element HTML, button element, close totals button. I believe that's what it's called. It's close totals box button. Dot add event listener, and this will say when we have a click, we'll have a function that'll return nothing, and it will just call close overlay. All right, there's that one. Next, let's do our show totals. Let's make sure that was called show totals btn. Show totals btn, there it is. And I think this is going to end up, since it's an event listener, we'll put a semicolon at the end here. And so this will be the function. Need another semicolon here. We can, if we want, we can move this up to here, but I'm not going to. I think it reads a little better where it is. So there's the white, there's the weight, what do we call the other ones? Weight, BMI value, and BMI totals, I think. this is going to change. And then we're going to have BMI category. Okay. All right. So the overlay is done. The show totals button is done. Let's do our clear form. That was the clear form. All right, let's do this. Let's grab all this, copy it, paste it here, which is where it should have went. And then for our show totals, see that says show totals. So this should be, is it clear totals button? Clear form button. And then show totals button, and this clear form is right. Show totals is not right. This will just open up the overlay. Alright. Doesn't like something in here. Did I not make an open overlay like that? Just close overlay. There's, of course, we call it open overlay. There we go. That should fix that error. Open overlay, close overlay, HTML button. All right. So most of the work here is in the calculate button. So how am I doing for time? We're at 8 minutes, so I should be able to get all this done. And then we'll check it, and we'll see whether or not it works. So, again, this is our calculate. I think we call this calculate BTN, but I don't know. There it is. Add event listener, click, function, again we'll need a semicolon at the bottom of this. Semicolons for all of them. Good. All right. Const height in inches. Let's just call it height input. That'll be an HTML input element, and that'll be equal to that get element that we wrote before, and it'll be the height. close that. Don't know why it doesn't close it for you automatically, but it does not. All right, so after our height input, we'll need a weight input for the weight. All right. Yeah, it's saying it's declared but never used, so that's fine. Const, then the height itself is going to be a number that's going to be equal to parse int of that height input, and let's just give it a default value. I don't know, just make it 0. Well, we want to do a const weight too. All right, it's telling us here it's missing the following properties. Except line alt complete 55 more. Whew. Well, I'm going to figure out what it is, but let me put in the rest of the code because this is the only place we're going to have some problems. So what I'll do is I'm going to put in the rest of the code and then go back and debug it and then come back with one last lecture. So first we want to do our height validation. We're going to do that. Then we're going to do our weight validation. Okay. Height. Oops, that's not right. It's not a number. Or the height is less than the min height, or the height is greater than the max height. If it's any of those, let's keep this simple. Whoops, wasn't good. Let's do an alert. And we'll say, please enter a height between inches. All right. Height input dot value equals nothing. Height input dot focus, and we'll return. And then we're going to do the same exact thing for the weight, except all those H's that we put in there for height will have to change to W's for weight. All right, so please enter a weight between min weight and max weight, and that's going to be pounds, and that'll be a W. Oops, W. And that'll be a W. and return. And the return should have a semicolon at the end. All right. So if we get to this point, we haven't returned yet. Both the height and the weight are valid. Calculate the BMI, then calculate the BMI status. All right, const. So now we want the numeric value of what we just, remember it's returning a string. Make that a const. And that's going to be equal to calculate BMI status. And we're passing in the BMI number. Oh, did we call it calculate BMI status? Yeah, again, boy, I gotta work on that spelling. Okay. And then finally, we want to display each one. So how about string? And then finally, we want to display the calculated BMI status in the result area. I think we just called it BMI status, didn't we? All right. That's everything. Not a whole lot, about 200 lines. Again, there's errors here. sure what those errors are, and you can see there's 4 of them. I think that's all we have. So let's do a file, save all. And for the first time here, let's do a CMD. Make this bigger. Let's go over to this is a nope. This is where we want to run this from. Copy. Again, I'm going to get errors here, so we'll have to debug those. Fix that in the next lecture. Oh, I didn't change to that directory. How's that? Now TSC. Still doesn't like it. Let's do this. All right, BMI TypeScript. Got that. Well, for some reason that isn't working. I'll have to figure out why, and we'll do that in the next lecture. See you then.